What's up, guys? Welcome back to another HERR Lounge podcast. I'm solo again. Marissa's not here. I think we're going to get a new schedule, right? Maybe.
Yeah. We're going to work on a creative meeting after this podcast.
So I think we're going to get a new schedule so that Marissa can try to make it on her day off, and it can be back to us, my little co-host, because I miss her when she's not here.
She's wild.
She makes the podcast fun. Before we get started, I want to just shout out everyone who's been signing up for the Patreon. Thank you so much. We are at 8 subscribers so far, so I'm excited about that. Okay, so one, I'm going to apologize for last week for not posting my journal entry on Thursday. I forgot about it, and then it was Penny's birthday. No excuse whatsoever. But it will be up today. I'm actually going to work on it today, so it may end up going up tonight.
Cool.
So that it's already up there for you guys Thursday or whenever you guys see it.
We could always schedule a post too.
Yeah. So I want to just make sure that it's up and ready for you guys to have ready. Here's where I want for you guys to give me some ideas, and I want to see what you guys think.
I like that you have your laptop in front of you. You look like one of the reporters, like that
like
do
I'm reading.
Yeah, that do all the. All right, today we're going to talk about.
Today we're going to talk about. Question number 1 for you guys is this: would you prefer a written out entry or like a little 5-minute journal video? I'm curious about that because it's something that you can just play and watch, or is it something that you just want to read? So I'm kind of curious as to which people prefer. I just had a meeting with Ilse, who helps with my personal Instagram and my HERR apparel brand and stuff. And so we were talking about branding and stuff. And so while we were talking, we talked about the premium type of content. And obviously doing a journal entry for you ladies is a premium type of content because I'm not giving that to anybody else. Right. Yeah. So I'm curious as to would they like something written, or would they like something that it's like, here's a little 5-minute journal entry. And we call it a day, where I don't make it like a whole long thing. So I don't know.
I like that. I actually kind of like the idea of maybe even if you do, we can actually do a poll. I know there's only 8, but y'all are gonna be getting a lot of extra content until more and more people start.
until I figure it out, because y'all are really gonna be my guinea pigs, right?
Yeah, the
trials to see what works and what you guys don't and do like. Thank you to you guys who did respond. You know what I'm saying? To the last solo episode, the first bonus episode that they got to hear. So they said they enjoyed it. So I was happy to hear that feedback. Because I need to know that feedback.
For sure.
You know?
So you're talking about a journal entry and or a little 5-minute reply or like a similar, just instead of doing it in a journal,
instead of doing it written,
reply?
it's just a video reply, more like I want to have something that I'm kind of reading off of, I'm almost reading. It's almost like a Dear Abby type of thing, type thing, to where I'm reading it real quick for you guys.
Dear
it's just,
Solly.
Right, exactly. It's almost like this is what's going on. This is where I'm feeling. I feel like a lot of my pregnancy content that is about to start happening, I will be giving it to my Patreons first before I even give them to YouTube. Only because that's where I'm at right now in my stage, and is all these mixed emotions of these last couple of days and, weeks, because I have 3 weeks left. So, I'm all over the place, not emotionally, just
definitely emotionally though. Come on, a little bit, right?
Not sentimental emotional, more like this is really mean. But I have so much to do. Can we get this part of life moving? Yes, I know.
For guys that don't know Marisol personally, that's in general. Can we get this show on the road? Let's get this train moving.
That's why yesterday, was it yesterday that I posted this thing on my Instagram where I said, if you're from Texas, if I'm on my second wow.
Oh my God, dude, that was so funny. If I'm on my second wow, I need you to move the story along.
Yeah, or my second wow, or really, or so, whatever.
No, it's wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. There you go. If I'm my second one, that means you've lost me.
Dude.
And so my girlfriend who came to Penny's party this weekend said, she goes, I'm going to reevaluate our conversation yesterday to see if you did any of that. I'm like, no, usually when I'm trying not to be rude, I'll just catch the last sentence and ask a question from the last sentence so that you think I paid attention through the entire conversation. I know that's really bad, but
that's a Libra thing too.
It's really bad. But sometimes when I have 100 things going in my, like going on,
yeah,
I'm like, oh my God, there's stories going really long. How much longer of this story is it going to be? And I think about that as a chatter because, listen, y'all, I don't need nobody to tell me my flaws because I know them all.
What's you got to be in a chatter to you got to do flaws?
Well, because I know that I can talk for a long time, and I'm sure I do that to some people where it's like, damn, bitch, can you hurry up? What's the Pete sometimes does that to me and it drives me, but now I'm like, wait, I said, this part of the conversation is important. You need this detail.
He just glosses over
so
stuff.
so that I can get to that part of the, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, okay.
Oh, what I was going to say, not to interrupt you, hold your train of thought, is when you're talking about a journal entry or a video, a third thing that we could offer, or it could be is, because some people like to listen, they're like doing things while they're listening to the podcast. Mm-hmm. I could take the audio out of that video, or I could just take the audio, from the video that you send and make it like a mini, like entry, like a mini bonus podcast entry, where those 5 minutes, for people that don't have time to sit and watch, they can listen to it.
Ah, got it. Okay.
So you could still do it from your phone and then just send it to me.
Got it. Okay. So if you're listening in your Patreon, please give me your feedback. I need it.
Yeah.
Either that or I'll post a poll, like you said, so that they know.
I don't know. I'm telling you.
So that we know about that. But yeah, that's kind of how I work. So I guess emotional in the sense of I am ready to just kind of like get ready to have the baby, get things ready going. There's so much that I want to do, and there's so much that I want to do after the baby is born. And I just kind of want to get there.
Yeah, we got a lot of planning to do too, because I want to make sure that we have a lot of content for the patrons and the public feed that's, so that when you're down and out, even though you say you only want it to be a week or two, it'll probably maybe be more if needed.
I want to be realistic too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that I took the time off the first time with Penny. Let's see, I took a month and that was it. So I did a whole month, and it was overwhelming for me because, when you're kind of like the person who handles a lot of the organizing and managing and all that, plus having a baby, it was really hard. Like, it was really hard. And it was like people were waiting on me. You know what I'm saying? And it was a difficult thing. So I have a babysitter this time around. So I think it might be a little bit, it'll be a little bit different versus I had to look for one the first time around. So we'll see. But real quick, guys, before we get started, I posted this yesterday, and a lot of you guys loved that I posted this affirmation for Tip Tuesday yesterday. And this is kind of the things that I want to start doing. Obviously, I did it on social media just for getting my social media back because I've been silent. People thought I had the baby. So I've been getting DMs. Yes. Did you have your baby already? You haven't been on social media. Have you had your baby already? You haven't been on social media. So I guess that's how people keep up.
That's a good sign, though. They're following closely.
So I haven't had my baby. I'm still here. But the affirmation for yesterday was, any energy I've picked up that does not belong to me, I send back to its rightful owner. I stand 100% in my own energy. Basically, don't bring your bad vibes this way. I
like that.
Back to you because I stand in my own. And a lot of you guys really liked that, and I got some good feedback off of that, and I just kind of wanted to share it today on the podcast, in case you didn't get it, because that's kind of where I am right now in life, and I think a lot of us, as we get a little bit older, we're kind of like that, where I don't have tolerance for a lot of stuff anymore, and so I think it's because I'm turning 40 also. I can't wait till I'm the little old lady that doesn't give a fuck.
Oh, come on. You're kind of there already.
I'm almost there. I'm not 100% there yet, but I'm almost there because I'll still be considerate of some things.
Yeah.
I can't wait until I'm that one person that's just like, I'm just going to say what I feel like saying because I'm at that age where I can. And
I want to channel my inner Joan Rivers.
Totally.
All the time.
All the time. Like my grandmother, she's funny now to me because she's always been pretty blunt. but my grandmother's the nicest person you'll ever meet.
And that's how I think you and I are. We're genuinely nice. We care about people. We don't want to hurt your feelings. But at the same time, when you is dumb, we're going to call you out on it. You is dumb.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just people got to know that that's what they're walking into if they interact.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. Do you want to, y'all, real quick? I know we're going to talk about some stuff that Rob's got for us to talk about, but
that's another thing. We're gonna Marisol wants to be more organized.
I want to be more organized with you guys. Framework. I think I just babble on. How I treat my podcast is almost like if I have a conversation with my girlfriends, and so this is basically what I do. And some of the critiques that I got back from Ilse is that basically my podcast is all over the place, and maybe I could get more of a following if I just kind of had more of a topic style podcast. And I can see that because I am all over the place. Sometimes when I listen to our podcast, I'm like, we started here and ended totally over here. Like, wait a minute. So it's almost like, how does Rob end up picking clips that we post? Because it's like, there's a difference. It's almost like you can make 5 different clips off of that one because there's so many subjects that we touch on. I don't want to get away too much from who I am because this is who I am. And my podcast to me is the place where I'm able to talk about whatever I want to talk about because I try not to do it on social media. I try to keep social media about being a mom, about being, a wife, exactly what my title says, Mom, Wife, Hustler. I try to show you guys what that all is, you know what I'm saying? And I try to make my podcast about things more that are like, that matter to me. Just kind of like more of me chatting with you guys. Like this is the opportunity where I'm able to do that. So Penny's birthday was great this weekend. That
whatever you built looked pretty intense. Looked pretty cool.
So shout out to Happy Cakes and More, my girlfriend who does an amazing job at making the best cakes and cupcakes.
She made those lemon ones from the podcast?
She's the one that made the lemon ones from the podcast. She did such an amazing job. I can't thank her enough. Funny thing is that she started off as my Zumba student. I never thought she would be a friend. You know what I'm saying? Isn't that weird?
You purposely just trying to disconnect between clients? And,
totally. I try not to create no friendships between my clients and I.
No new friends.
Yeah. Because then it becomes like weird. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you're like, hey, listen, you're not really putting in effort. And then they get offended. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, well, you're the one paying me. I'm just telling you what you're not doing. You know what I'm saying? You want to look cute in
your clothes.
Exactly.
Do the work.
We got to do something. And then shout out to Creative Elephants, who also did my balloon arrangement for the podcast. She also did Penny's Mermaid Tell. She went all out. She reaches out for the last 2 birthdays. She's reached out, and how she remembers Penny's birthday, I don't know if she has it written down, but she was the one that reached out and said, I'd love to make another
awesome
balloon arrangement. So guys, if you're looking for someone who does balloon arrangements and you're in the Houston area, reach out to or start to follow Creative Elephants. It's only 1 E, the creative E on the creative part, and then L-E, like, so it's all together. There's no double E. Yeah.
Creative Laments.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And so follow her and follow Happy Cakes and More. Just 2 great ladies, 2 entrepreneur ladies, who are just trying to grow their business. And so
that's what I'm excited about your Patreon is because the communities that you've built, like you actually have like a community on Facebook, you have a community on Instagram. There's like a community within itself on your stories with like Tip Tuesdays and stuff like that. Yeah. There's a community within your apparel, and all that could come together inside of the Patreon and do a whole bunch of little things for one another that I think is pretty cool.
I would love to have an app. I kept telling Pete this. Like, I think an app would just, because whenever, the Kardashians had it, it was like, I never paid for the full thing because I just wanted to see what they were doing. But Kim did very well at giving a lot of free content with it. And then anything that was premium, she would charge you $1 for any videos that you wanted to watch that were like a routine, her morning routine. You know what I'm saying? It was like pay $1 to watch it. And it was like, and I paid the $1 to watch one of her videos, right? Here's the thing though. I'm not Kim Kardashian and I don't have millions of dollars. So I don't ever know really how much truth there is to her videos. Like, do you really get up and get all your kids ready, or do your nannies do that?
True.
I
think a part of that is just like, it's almost like when you watch a Hollywood movie, like there's a suspension of disbelief there where her fans want to believe that she does get up and does all that, but also Probably not.
I mean, she's busy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, Luisa does not live in my house. She doesn't.
Though some might think sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. As much as we work, and so she doesn't live here. So can you imagine? I can't. It's funny because she like didn't know how to ask me. She's like, so when the baby is born, what are we going to do?
What?
And I said, what do you mean? She's like, so am I supposed to stay here to help you overnight? I was like, absolutely not. I was like, no.
Was she planning on it, or she?
I think she was wanting to make sure, like.
She's just looking out.
Yeah, I think she was just like, okay, am I going to be here? I'm like, no. I'm like, well, one, my mom will come help. You know what I'm saying? And then two.
Did she help the first time?
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was really surprising.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that at all. Even I was like, you're going to stay here for 2 weeks? She's like, yeah. I'm like, at my house? She's like, yeah. I'm like,
I can't get you to visit on a regular basis.
Exactly. I'm like, okay. We had homemade fresh tortillas. We would have fresh everything. I was like, who are you? I was like, I didn't even know you knew how to make half this shit.
Damn, that's insulting but hilarious.
She was like, what did you think? I'm like, I don't know. You have to remember, my mom became a working mom, I think, when I was already in the second grade. So I don't remember my mom being someone who was cooking at home, and it was my dad who cooked because he got home before my mom.
What do you call that nowadays? Because it's no longer like housewife. It's like domestic.
Yeah, domestic.
No, literally, it's like domestic engineer or something like that. Is what the name for it is now. Yeah.
Hello.
I'll look up the name.
What kind of degree is that one? Shit. But yeah, so it was great. All right. Downfall of birthday parties, right?
Ooh, where do we start?
One, okay. I never like to go all out for like Penny's birthdays. Let me just tell you why. Because I feel she's really little right now and she doesn't remember. She'll only remember based on the pictures that I've taken. So for me, I think birthdays should start about 5-ish and up, because I think they pretty much remember them pretty well. You know what I'm saying? Like the memories are more vivid, you know?
That's fair.
I don't remember. I remember one birthday party and my mom tells me I was 7. But all the pictures that I've had birthday party. She would have a party for me for every birthday, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Until I was 10, and that was it.
She was big on parties and stuff.
She made so to me, it's birthdays. I know this is really mean, but I don't really care for Christmas because I don't think Christmas is about giving gifts. So even though yes, I give the girls gifts, I try to really push why we do that. Why what the reason for Christmas is, right? Mm-hmm. I don't really care for Valentine's Day, anniversaries, like just, hug me, make my coffee in the morning.
It was a sad morning this morning.
It was a sad morning. My boo is out of town. I had to make I can't even make my own coffee. It didn't taste the same, so I had to go buy one. But so I'm real simple with those things. I told you, for me, it's like a handwritten note in the morning. If he leaves one to me, that just makes my day. So I'm a little bit more like that, because I know that I can just take my card and go buy whatever I want to go buy if I want it. You know what I'm saying? There's no need for you. Now, is it cool that you thought about it and remembered that I said I wanted something and you bring it home? Of course. Who doesn't like that, right? But
do you keep a list of things that Shingo mentions, or that?
Yes, I'm good about that.
Yeah, Don is too.
He's not.
I don't think I am either.
Yeah, he's not. And so he'll okay, like for Mother's Day, this is the most random thing. I think I told you I wanted a Louis Vuitton key holder, right? He actually remembered that, but he told me he was on the way to the mall to go get it.
What a ruiner.
Why would you
exactly
say that? Well, you know why he told me that? Because the line to Louis Vuitton on Mother's Day, the day before yes, that's what I was surprised. Wow. This year, he sends me the picture.
Pandemic what?
I was like, was there a sale at Louis Vuitton? Because
I want some other things.
Why is that line? I mean, Rob, the line went like this.
Is that the Galleria one?
Yes. I said, wow. I said, that many people. I mean, I'm not trying to say there's not people out there that make money, but I mean, I wait before I buy another luxury item. That's been my first luxury item in a hot minute. And it wasn't, but I mean, it's still a lot of money, but it wasn't but $250 for, and it's a lot for a little key holder, right?
But it was like the first thing in like 2 years.
But it was the first thing in like 2 years. I think about those things, right? So it's kind of like, okay. So he told me, he's like, hey, basically like, do I have to send in this line? I'm like, Pete, everything you can do at the store, you can do online. So you could have just ordered it and it would have been, I was like, excuse me. I said, I'll order it. Don't worry about it. Anyway, my point with this is Penny wanted a mermaid party. I was going to get a water jumpy here in my backyard, just invite her 4 cousins and Luisa's 7 grandkids, because that's enough to make a party. I wasn't going to invite anybody else. My girlfriend's kids I had invited, but I was just keeping it really small, right? And then Pete's sister suggested the pool. Well, Penny heard the pool and it was like, what?
Oh, no.
So then my mom was like, that's a really big mistake, right? And I was like, here we go. She's like, there's too many kids. Someone can drown. And so when I told Pete that, Pete's like, wasn't it the parents' responsibility to be watching their kids? I'm like, okay, well, good point. So I went with it, even though like in sign language, you kind of go like this whenever you have like a gut feeling, like kind of had a gut feeling. I was like, but it's going to look so cute. I kept thinking about like how visually it's going to look so cute, right? Because my yard is not as big and I also don't have a pool, you know? And so I'm like, all right, this is going to be cool. Well, one baby's foot falls through the little circle thing where
the drain
on the outside.
Oh, no.
So I guess because he put most of the weight on one side of it, it flipped. So his foot went down. So that went there. Luisa's granddaughter almost died on us. She drowned. She was drowning. Her son-in-law happened to see, the other little baby got mad and threw the float, happened to go grab it and looked and saw that she was pretty much down. Meanwhile, her dad was in the water watching her brother, didn't realize that she was in the back. So they pull her out through the hair. So then she's throwing up water. So now my stomach is turning, like diarrhea turning.
Oh,
like I'm
no.
just like, oh my God, my mom fucking said it. I just kept hearing my mom's voice. Son muchos niños, Marisol, alguien se puede ahogar. I'm just like, Mom, why do you always have to like, just let me, you know? So I'm cutting the cake now.
Shaking as you're cutting the cake.
Penny decides to get ballsy. Goes in the water. My mom just had turned. I thought she was with my mom. My mom turned around to start helping Pete's sister kind of clean up. She was standing right there. Penny decides to get ballsy and puts one foot on the first step. She felt like, oh, I'm good here. Then goes on to the second one. And then she realizes that she couldn't go anymore. And then she starts to drown.
Oh, my God.
Pete's niece's husband happened to be standing there and got her. So she wasn't underwater like the other little girl was.
Yeah.
She maybe was 2 seconds, right? I didn't sleep that night because it just kept playing in my head over and over that if no one would have seen my daughter, I wouldn't have had a baby, right? Like my daughter wouldn't be here now. And I woke up and I was crying, and then I'd sit back down and then I'd be like, oh my, the first thing I did in the morning was text Alexis, and I said, Alexis, please tell Anthony, I said, thank you so much for saving my child's life. Like I was just like, I'm never having a pool party again. Never.
You ever going to have a house with a pool?
Yes, that's what we want next. That's what we've been looking for. That's one of the things that we want. It's a pool because we live in Houston. It is hot.
I get it.
His sister, they're in the pool all the time. I told Pete, I was like, one, I'm mad at myself for not continuing to take Penny to swim lessons, right? I should have kept up with them. I didn't. We stopped after a year and that was it. So she went up into a year old and then she didn't do anything for a whole year until now, gymnastics and ballet. So that, I told him, I said, I want a pool, but I feel like here it's one child I'll be watching. It's not so many of them, you know? And then I felt bad for Pete's sister because she was like worried about the little girl, you know? And so it's a lot. So it's her house, you know what I'm saying? So it was just kind of like my feet looked like they were about to burst. Like my poor toes were just kind of like doing their own thing from me. They were so swollen where I was just walking around so much. It was just a lot. My mom's like, she rode with us, and on the way back, there were so many presents and, just all this stuff that you bring back. And then my mom goes, "You should sit down." And I said, "Who's going to clean up this mess?" She's like, "Can it be cleaned tomorrow?" I was like, "Yeah, but now I'm going to have to wake up in this mess." I was like, and that's what I don't like. I don't like waking up to mess. You see, there's a mess right now. It's just toys that I've been taking out of Penny's room because I'm going to have to figure out which ones we're going to get rid of to put in the new ones because there's so many new ones. You know what I'm saying? So my mom's like trying to tell me to sit down. She's like, "Your feet are really swollen. Like they're really bad. Like you really need to put your feet up." And Pete's like, "You're not going to get her to sit down." She's like, "She doesn't understand. She does her own thing." She goes, "We argue all the time about how she needs to relax and da-da-da." Mom's like, "I don't really think you understand what your body already does while it's making a baby." She goes, "Because you think there's no baby in you and that you can still do what you want." She's like, "And that's not how it works." And I just looked at her. I said, "Says the person who had cancer and would do everything they wanted to do because she said she wasn't going to let cancer hold her down." I said, "I'm not going to let pregnancy hold." She goes, "It's not the same thing." She goes, "I had an illness." She goes, "You're growing a human, not even the same realm." She's like,
why is it that we have to be that way with our parents? Like we always have to meet them with like some kind of resistance. Te estoy dando consejo and you're like, "No, déjame en paz."
I know. And like this weekend I'm going with Pete, right, to Waco. And I said, "Mom, can you come take the night shift with Penny, And I said, so that I can, so that Luisa's not here 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, "Where are you going?" And I said, "Out of town with Pete." She's like, "Are you crazy?" She's like, "That would put you at 2 weeks away from having your baby." I said, "Yeah, I know." I was like, and my midwife said that it's fine as long as it's not on an airplane since I'm driving. By the way, my child has no intentions in coming. She felt the baby last week and she's like, "Yeah, so I'm going to send you these, supplements to start kind of mushing everything, making everything soft so that she wants to start shifting because she's chilling." She's facing down. So she's in the position ready to come, but she's too high up. And she was it was funny because Luisa was here. She was like, "Man," she was moving her stomach. I was like, "I know." And that shit hurts because when she moves, you got to remember, it's like things are banging on my fibroids. So I feel it. I'm just like, "Oh my God." In the video Pete's taking, I'm just like this because it hurts. Like you have no idea. So she's like, "I don't think she's going to make the shift to the left, then to the center. I think she's just going to come to the center because," she's like, "you don't have a lot of room in there." She's like, "Your fibroids, your placenta." She's like, so she's kind of trying to find where to go to where she can get ready. So I just got this supplement that she sent me, and it's called Gentle Birth. And it's just like some drops that you put in your mouth, and it's just to start helping everything get soft so that she can come. I told Peter, "I'm not taking that this week. I'm going to have to take it when we get back from Waco." Can you imagine if I start taking it and then I'm out of town and, you know what I'm saying, she decides, "Oh, well, it's kind of soft in here now. I think I'm ready to start coming." No, we can't let that happen. So I'm going to wait till Monday when we get back, and then I'll start on the supplements.
Did you at all consider not going out of town this weekend?
Yes.
But?
It's not a comedy club. And there needs to be somebody to work the voice of God, to introduce the comics. There's someone it's the selling the merch. I don't have a problem because it's Javi and
He's
Danielle. Yeah, Javi is. Listen, I love all the comics, but if I could pick my one comic to travel,
it would Javi be Javi all day. Not only is he smart as fuck.
Not only is he he's just a smart person.
Yeah.
Not only is he like super savvy because he used to run a comedy club, he used to help with that, but he's a multitasker, so he can sell my merch and his merch at the same time. He's my one person that if he comes, I know that I don't have to worry about nothing.
Yeah.
So no offense to any of my other comics that roll. I love you guys all, and I know that all you guys rock and y'all kill it. You know what I'm saying? But
some strengths, something
about Javi Luna. Yeah, Javi Luna is my dog.
Totally.
if there's one, I've always asked Pete, I was like, is there any way that we can just pick like 2 comics of the year just to do the entire tour with you so that I don't have to pick so many comics, you know what I'm saying? And then the ones in California, just do California, and then all the other states, they do, you know what I'm saying? But Pete likes the variety. He likes to be able to give the audience a variety. So, you know, I do that. But yeah, so Javi's going. So in that aspect, I wouldn't worry about it. And Danielle, who's coming as well, who's a female comic, was hilarious as well. She is pretty damn good too, because she's worked at the comedy club. So she knows.
So she's hosting, right?
She's hosting.
And if Javi's middling and okay.
And then Pete's.
Couldn't as the host she play Voice of God and then come out and host?
Yes. And then who's going to go back that ass up for Pete? For that part of his.
Okay. I haven't seen the set, but
yeah. So it's just a lot of little stuff that I just I wish I didn't have to go. Yeah, probably. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just, you know.
Yeah. No, I get it. And the only reason I kind of push this up is
because... Do you want to go, Rob?
No, because I think like your mom, you know, I think the whole pool thing, and I don't know what it is. Maybe, you know, the same thing with my mom. You always remember the shit they say, and then when something happens and they gave you a slight warning, you're like, God damn it. She kind of mentioned
exactly. That's what I'm afraid of. Because my mom is one to, you know what I'm saying? Like, she always says something, and then it's like the swimming pool thing. She warned me. She said, I really don't think it's a good idea for you to have a pool party. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be too many kids.
And you're typically a hawk when it comes to stuff like that.
Yes.
But because you're so prego.
Yeah. And I'm like, and then I'm trying to cut the cake, and then I'm like over there, and then it's kind of like, oh my God. And I'm just like, I should have gone with plan A, not plan B.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and to me, I don't like to clean up after. That's the part I hate the most. That's the reason why the first birthday party that she ever did was at We Rock the Spectrum, because all I had to bring there was a cake. They handled setting up the cake. They handled setting up the pizzas. They provided them. You just pay for that part of the package. And that was it.
I'm surprised you didn't do something like Levy Park, where they have the outdoor like water fountain in the park and all that stuff.
That might be next year's.
Yeah, something like Levy Park, because you have all that space, and then you've been in Levy Park? No? Oh, dude, you would love it.
Really?
Yeah, because they have like a part of the park that's just park and whatever you call them, jungle gym, playground things, and then they have another segment where it's some playground equipment, but with like the like big sprinklers and fountains that come out, so you get wet, kind of like a little water day, big old slide.
Yeah, I'm not doing that next year. It's either a jumpy place, because she loves those places, and I just bring in the cake and the pizzas, and we call it a day, and that's it. You know, when Mickey was older, I had hers at the we did her 80s birthday party at what used to be called Funplex, but it's no longer Funplex.
Oh yeah.
And I rented the whole space out there. We had tables. They got to roller skate, and they got tokens to play.
Nice.
Again, I went all out. Excuse me, guys. I'm still dealing with these allergies.
Sound much better.
Yeah, for real. I did the whole boom box. I made a boom box. You know what I'm saying? So that's where you put her cards in there. I made a bunch of stuff for her stuff. I love that. You have no idea. Crafting to me is very therapeutic. So for me, it's a lot of work. But for me, it's like once I see it, I'm like, I hope that they do the same for their kids. My mom didn't do that. My mom just bought, okay, what's your theme? Sesame Street. We're going to go to Party City, and we buy all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Which is no problem either, because there's some people that they're not going to do that. I like it. I like crafting. I like making stuff, and I love to see it. You know, there was nothing more rewarding than to see Penny be like, oh my God. And, you know, I made her chair. I made everything. So when I post the video up, you guys will see all the crafting that I did. And so I made all the arrangements, you know? So it was like, you know, it was work. But to me, it was like, when she sees that one day, I hope that she says, man, my mom hooked it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mom did a damn good job, you know? And I hope that she does it for her kids, and, you know, that they do it for each other. I hope that she remembers that. Birthdays to me are super duper important. Like I said, I don't care about anniversaries. I don't care about Valentine's Day. What other Whatever other stuff. Mother's Day either. I don't really care about it. I do expect for you to give me some kind of card or note or something.
We all know by this point.
Yes. But as far as a present, like I said, I can go get my gifts.
Yeah.
I don't need you to go get them for me.
To stay on the party thing real quick, the Skeeter Stadium out in Sugar Land, they have a huge section you can like rent out with like tables and chairs and stuff. You can actually even pay extra to have it catered, but they have a huge splash pad and also like a park in the outfield of the stadium that you can rent.
There's a lot of things that I didn't know that I can rent now. That lagoon place that we went to in Texas City.
You can rent that too,
You can
right?
rent that. That was cool.
It looked cool.
It was a water park though, but I think they provided a lifeguard. So, you know. Oh, and then when I told my sister about it, she's like, yeah, well, from what I know, when you have a pool party, you're supposed to provide a lifeguard. I said, bye, Cynthia.
That's not helpful.
I was like, you didn't need to tell me that. But my sister bought her an electric motorcycle.
What?
Like her other electric car that sits back here.
The Jeep?
It gets rained on. And
see, that's why you need at least an acre and a half. You need a long driveway. You need about a 3-car garage just for the essentials.
here's the problem is that we didn't think our family would grow when we got this house. I just thought we would have Mickey, and Mickey would be the only, even though I was pregnant when we bought this house.
How did you not think it was going to grow? You just didn't think we're going to have another kid?
I just thought we were just going to have Penny. We were going to call it a day. You know what I'm saying? I thought that would be sufficient for me. Like, I just wanted to experience being a mother, and I thought that was going to like kill that satisfaction of,
didn't.
And it didn't. I felt like I would see Penny and I'd see how much fun she had with Lisa's grandkids. And I'm like, and I remember having a sister, and I'm like, and not saying that Mickey's not her sister, but her sister's 10 years older than her.
Yeah.
Her sister does not right now either. She's a teenager.
Yeah.
She does not want to play with the 2-year-old.
Here's what I see happening too in the future, since Penny's going to be so close to her sibling. And Dawn has a friend like this. They're maybe the same age or a year older than the twins. They're already into sports, right? So their backyard is like and this is the kids doing it themselves. They're setting up their agility ladders and their cones, and they're practicing for softball and soccer in the backyard, getting their workouts in. I can see Penny, I can see the kids doing that in the backyard too, and helping each other or fighting with each other.
Penny is really excited about her sister, and everything she says is, "This is for me and this is for my sister. This is for me and this is for my sister." I don't know if my sister and I Penny and her will be 3 years apart. And I'm not saying that, I don't know. You moms out there, if you're listening, please comment below. If you think that too many years doesn't make that big of a difference, or less years makes anything different. But for me, my sister and I were almost 4 years apart, right? She turns her I turn 40 this year, and then she'll be 37. Okay, at the end of the year. So we're almost 4 years apart. Growing up, I just didn't like her. She cried for everything.
Llorona.
Oh my God. It was like, give it to her. She's crying. It was like, she was crying. She was a mama's girl, big time. I was very independent. So it's like, I'd want to play with her. And if it didn't go the way, you know what I'm saying? It was like a crying thing, and she stuck her tongue out at everybody. And it was just like, if my grandmother called and said, "Oh, do you want me to go pick you up?" It was a yes, a hard yes. Come get me right now. I'm waiting outside with my bags. Like, come pick me up. It was that much. And then as time grew, as you guys I've talked about this on here, as we got older, I started to see her as my child, because I had to start taking care of her. At that point, I mean, I love my sister to death. Don't get me wrong. But when you're young, I think you're young. You don't know. I'm going to say my sister and I started getting along when we were able to start going out together, like high school. Like, we were able to do things together. Because even still in junior high, there was still a gap between us. You know what I'm saying? And so when she was able to go to parties with me, that's whenever it was like, oh, this is cool to have a sister. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, hey, you want to go? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, let's go. So it's like, get ready, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So when we got to that age, for me, that's when it was like, oh my God, having a sister is the best thing. Not saying that when I was younger, it wasn't. But when we were younger, I was a mom to her.
Yeah.
It was like I was mom. So it was not fun to me. I don't want to do that to Penny. Like, I don't want to ever her feel like she's got to like, and I don't think it'll happen because different set of parents. Does that make sense?
Totally.
My parents were immigrants, you know, we're not, you know, so it's kind of like different. We have a babysitter. My mom did not. I was the babysitter. So, you know, it's two different worlds, you know, but she's really excited about it. I asked my mom, so was I excited? She's like, I don't remember. She's like, I just remember you like always asking me, why does she cry so much?
She was like, you weren't really excited about a lot of things.
She's like, she was just always crying, and she was like grouchy, and you know what I'm saying? Just like a loner. My sister, until this day, she's a loner. She's okay with her one friend, and she's really we're totally opposite.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that, but there is something strange to me about somebody that's that introverted, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, what? Why?
She's okay with that. She's okay. My sister can travel by herself and go have fun on her own. She don't need nobody.
I like conversation too much.
Yeah, same here. I can't do that. But if I go by myself somewhere, I will find someone to talk to.
Totally.
And Pete's always like, hey, go start a conversation with them. Because like if he's eavesdropping and he'll hear something, he's like, hey, try to start the conversation with. I'm like, you go. Why do I have to go? He's like, cause you're good at it. And it's like, so you go. So he'll like make me go like try to start the conversation, and then, you know, so that he can chime in and give his two little cents. Yeah, his 2 cents. It's funny. But so my whole point with that is I can't wait to see what Penny will be like with her sister. They are 3 years apart, so I don't know if that gap is.
I think that's a perfect gap.
If it's
honestly
too much, or it's like it's just the right amount. I don't know, right?
I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
You and your sister being 4 years apart, and then me and my sister were 5 years apart. We were always too far away. Like we were never in any kind of like same grades, same buildings or anything. And then I graduated, and she was barely starting high school. It's like, what? I mean, now I'm in a community college working. It's just like different worlds. But 2-3 years, I think it's perfect.
Yeah, because I was already a senior when she was coming into the 9th grade.
Yeah, same.
So I didn't get to like see her at all through high school or anything. But that's when I feel our relationship got the best.
I can see that, but I feel like it would have been stronger had we been in the same, like had she been a freshman and I was a sophomore, junior versus out of school already.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So we'll see. My aunt and uncle were at my grandmother's party. He's like, my uncle's like, I think that's a good age. She's like, because Erica and Adeli were 5 years apart, and he's like, in growing up, they didn't play with each other.
Yeah.
There was too much of a gap. She goes, now they're close because they're older. Now they have kids. They can relate now. You know what I'm saying? But he's like, but when they were little, it's like, I
will say, just because I couldn't go anywhere, my parents didn't let me go anywhere. We did play a lot as kids. We were just at home by ourselves, like not by ourselves, but together.
Well, I couldn't go anywhere unless I took my sister. So
you're like, I don't like you right now, but I have to take you.
Exactly. Anywhere. Like, you're going to go, oh yeah, take your sister. Why? Because what is she going to do? I don't know. That's not my problem. I ain't got a child though. So I had to take her with me everywhere.
You know, since we're talking about kids and siblings and growing up, and we're getting to the tail end of this episode, and we're also doing the premium episode today. Let's talk about norms, because you mentioned about norms, and we'll do the placenta and the other stuff for the premium episode, because some of that content might be a little too controversial for YouTube, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What were you thinking about when you were hearing Sarah Silverman talk about norms?
So I don't know if you guys listen to Sarah, what's her last name?
Sarah Silverman.
Okay.
Comedian.
She's a comedian. I like her because she was dry humor, and I'm kind of into the dry humor type thing. But she went on this rant about how, it's okay if you don't want to have kids, and, why is that not normal? And, why has society has been the one that said you should have kids? Society has been the one to say you should get married. Society, it's like blaming everything on what the world has made normal. I don't think the world has made anything normal. I think that's just what human nature does. Man meets woman. They get together. They make a child. They create a family. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. You may divorce, but that cycle repeats. You find a new person. You may marry. You may have kids with them. Does that make sense? I don't think that anyone said the rules of life are
right.
Here's a man, here's a woman, and y'all are supposed to. I think it was just human nature, no?
Interesting take on it. I was listening to Dave Ramsey, a random Dave Ramsey video not too long ago, and I watch stuff periodically. He's very like beginner finances, which is great. I think it's great for people to hear his fundamentals on stuff.
Absolutely.
If you have a hard time with them. But anyway, the caller was talking about like they're trying to decide whether to have a big wedding or get married or how to approach that. And Ramsey went on this rant about how right now in modern society we are overlooking the customs that the society kind of was built on, the nucleus family, the marriage, and some of the cultural rituals that came with it that helped glue all that together, because it's getting more expensive, finances, and you also want to focus on a career. So the norms have started to shift in a way that it's making it harder for people to do the things that made this, let's just say country so strong for such a long time. I know a lot of people disagree with that statement, but getting married, having the wedding, doing all that thing, having the kids, focusing on the man working and the mother raising the kids, all that stuff is totally breaking down. But I think it's what did make this country so strong for a long time. Wouldn't you agree?
Totally agree.
And you're somebody that's super ambitious and was trying to do both at the same time.
Yeah, and here's the funny thing. Not to bring up my past relationship, but I never wanted to live with someone. It was the one thing I never wanted to do. However, my ex thought that in order for you to know whether or not it's going to work in a marriage is you have to live together, right?
I agree with that.
So, and see, I feel like I didn't feel that way. That's why Pete has always said that he feels like, he's like, I feel like you were a conservative and you really didn't even know it. I never felt like that was correct. Like I never wanted to live with anybody. It's like you either know or you don't know. Especially guys, you guys in there, your spidey senses, when a bitch is right and when she ain't right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't think the living together does anything except maybe you learn each other's bad and good habits even more in depth. You know what I'm saying? Because that's about it. I bended because I felt like, okay, well, I need to be fair, right? Like if this is the direction we're going, then I guess that's what I'm going to have to do. Right. And that's when I moved in. My, I guess, ultimatum or whatever you want to call it was, I'm only going to live with you for a year. And I felt like a year was a long enough time for you to know whether or not you want to go to the next step with someone, right?
Interesting.
So I just kind of felt like I'm meeting you halfway. You need to meet me as well.
Why the hard line in the sand, though? 1 year or else,
Or else I was bouncing.
Right.
Not breaking up, bouncing as in not living with you.
Right.
We didn't have to break up. I just was not going to live here anymore. I'm not going to be your roommate. Like, I just like, to me, I am traditional when it comes to those things. Like, I want to know that I don't plan to divorce my husband unless, for me, the one thing that just is really hard for me to accept is someone cheating. It's really hard for me. And I know that people have made it work in their marriage.
It's an entanglement.
Yeah,
as Jada Pinkett said.
Exactly. So it's the one thing that for me, man, he had to have fought real hard in order for me to like have stayed after cheating. Like,
sure.
You probably we went to, I don't really know, to be honest with you. That's why I was kind of mad about working moms when she took him back. I said, what is you doing?
The babier was cute though.
I finally finished it from not being able to sleep. That's what I did. Yeah. So I was like, those are things that I just didn't want to do. After almost 2 years of living together, it was weird. As a woman, just as a man does, I just started to feel like we weren't going anywhere. Living together 3 years, 4 years, 5 more years.
How long did y'all live together before y'all got married?
We never married. Me and Pete, you mean? Or
Yeah. No.
Oh, Pete and I only dated a year.
And then you got married?
Yes.
And you had never lived together? I mean, live together.
We did live together. We lived together almost a year.
Almost a year?
Yeah.
So even that was like a big leap of...
Yeah, and even whenever, it was funny because I remember my mom, when she found out that Pete was living in my apartment, I remember her saying, "You're doing this again? Did you not see what happened
Wait, who said that?
My mom. She's like, did you not see what happened to your first relationship? I told you not to move in with. My mom did not want me to move in because basically she's like, he's never going to ask you to marry him. She's like, why would he?
See, my mom's the same way, but I completely disagree with that. Like, what do you mean, why would he? Like, what?
Because why would he? Why would he ask now and didn't ask before? What's going to change between you living together and then not living together?
Well, like Joey Diaz said during the pandemic, relationships either got stronger or they were shattered. You either learned that you loved the person you were with and your relationship grew stronger, or you knew that you're not supposed to be together.
And you want to know what's funny? Yesterday when I was telling you I was trying to find a 713 picture.
Yeah.
I erased them. I wish I would have. Oh, they should be in my deleted.
Yeah.
I was taking pictures of news for some reason. Like, I don't know what I was trying to document during the pandemic, but almost every other picture was of how many cases of divorces had skyrocketed during the pandemic.
Interesting. Why were you screenshotting that?
I don't know. I was taking pictures of the news.
For this moment right here.
I was like, what is my problem?
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know if I was like documenting how crazy it was. Marriage to me is super duper sacred. So for me, we're stuck together like glue, homie. You're not leaving, and I'm not leaving unless we just really can't make it. Like there's nothing in a marriage that you can't make work. Come on, you have to work at it. No marriage is easy. None.
I agree. I think we could, dude. I feel like we could have a complete show, just a show on marriage itself.
Yeah,
where you talk about it every episode. I'm not saying that's what we're gonna do, but you're absolutely right. And you and I completely disagree on some parts and we agree on others. And like your mom said, I completely disagree with that too, because it's like saying, and this might be a way of oversimplifying it, why would I go just buy a car without test driving it? And I know that's an old, outdated kind of analogy, but it's, or even a used car. You say like, well, you're just going to learn each other's like quirks, more. Like, yeah, a used car, I'm going to want to know, do I need a screwdriver or can I use the key? Like, I need to know those quirks.
Yeah, no. I think you should learn them while you go. That's what a marriage is being able to work through what, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if that's the case, then life's easy then. If you think about it, then life would be way easier. Shit.
Go ahead, expand on that.
I mean, if having to test drive everything, I mean, life, you have to test drive. If that's the case, you test drive everything because you don't know if you want to buy a house. Because what if you don't get the right inspector to come inspect your fucking house, and now like shit, you took the risk, you bought the house, and then you discover that upstairs there was a fire in your attic, and you didn't get the right inspector that didn't write it on the paper.
But you still got the inspector at least. You weren't just going to buy the house on sight unseen. You can't use your personal experience that ended up working out though. It ended up working out.
And because we were out of town, and it was like we gotta move out of our apartment.
But see, it worked out.
But you see what I'm saying? It's like, to me, I don't think that's how it works. I think you in order for a marriage to be strong, in order for a marriage to actually work, I think that you have to like deal with no one's perfect.
I agree. Yeah.
So, for example, I work a certain way and my husband works a certain way. We're just not the same in that sense, right?
Very different.
I'm very, I guess what they would consider A-type, right? Mm-hmm. And he's, I don't know what he is.
On the spectrum, as you would say.
He's a genius. I think most people who are smart are kind of like that. They're not very organized. They just like to be.
They fly by the seat of their pants.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of how he is. And I think we balance each other out in various ways. So I think that's the reason why we work. You know what I'm saying? It's where he's weak, I'm stronger, and where I'm stronger, he's, you know what I'm saying? And so vice versa. And so I think that's why it works for us. I think also, here's the thing. When we were dating, it's like I knew I wasn't hesitant ever to be like, why is he living in my apartment? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I felt like when he would leave to go back to his house, I'd always be like, oh, well, that sucks. But I also wasn't going to I was too prideful to say, why don't you spend the night? You know what I'm saying? And it was kind of like, it slowly started happening, like to where he would stay. And then it just it was like, hey, I'm kind of living here. I should probably start paying rent. I think I talked to you guys, but I was like, no, you're not paying rent here.
And this is coming from somebody who, when I first met Marisol, I was completely on the other side of the spectrum. Didn't want to get married. Wasn't all about serious relationships. And here I am, fucking married, 2 kids somehow. Yeah. I don't know how that happened, living in the burbs. But I do agree with a lot of what you say. I totally agree. But I think the modern male and the modern female they're having such a hard time coming to grips with what they think they should do. And that's just part of, the political climate, the economical climate. And I don't know, doing some of the things that were considered unorthodox 10 years ago is going to become more and more orthodox as time goes on. And that's going to include things like moving in together before you get married.
Well, I think more people do that now than ever.
Ever. Totally.
I mean, even Lisa says, "Oh, everybody lives together here, don't y'all?" And I'm like, yeah, I hate to say it, but yeah, you're right. I'm not big into the weddings. That's just me. I think like the investment should be in your house or maybe in some kind of financial great investment, because most weddings cost $20,000. You know what I'm saying? And so the average, I think, is way higher than that. I think that's actually right now it's higher. But let's just say 20 is the average. You can do so much with 20,000.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can open up a business. You can purchase an investment home. You know what I'm saying? You can do a lot of stuff.
Even just having an emergency fund.
Yes, exactly. So for me, if you can cough up $20,000 for a wedding, then you should be able to work together to do something together. A wedding to me is great. Like I saw, what's Schultz's partner, his co-host?
Oh, Akash. Yeah.
Akash. Okay. His wedding.
Oh, you're all about that Indian culture.
I love the Indian culture. I do. I'm obsessed with it. I told Peter, I was like, oh. And you know the song that he danced to? Funny thing, I own that song in my playlist.
Oh my God.
I have no idea what it says, but I love it. And I know the song. I have no idea what it says.
Funny.
But I love the Punjabi culture. I love the Punjabi music. So when I see that and I see how traditional it is, I wish that I would have done it. And so I was telling Peter, I'm like, 10 years. At 10 years when we do our wedding, like I want it to be like very pretty and traditional.
Like that? Like an Indian tradition, or just...
I would like for it to be as traditional as possible. If I showed you the dresses that I had saved whenever I thought I wanted to have a wedding, when we were going to get married, when we got married, it's very traditional looking. Like I wanted the Mexican colors in there because I didn't want I wanted it to look like a folklorico dress.
Cool.
And
you know how to dance that too?
I did it for a very long time. I don't know now. I forgot now, but my shoes are still there in the storage unit, and hopefully one of my children will want to do it. But I wanted something very traditional. I wanted to have like the traditional 3-day wedding where it's like the wedding after the wedding. You know what I'm saying? Like I think all that is beautiful, right? I just get overwhelmed, right? Into where it's like, okay, I want it to end already. I'm tired. Like I've mingled enough. I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I don't want to happen. That's why I feel like 10 years from now, a couple of years from now, I feel like I'll be like a little bit, the girls will be a little bit bigger. They can participate in the wedding. He and I have been together now 10 years. You know what I'm saying? By that point, I think it'll be funner. I don't know. But I knew I've always known I wanted a destination wedding. I never pictured this like my sister's wedding was beautiful.
Like Kim K wedding?
My gosh. It was outside. It was in Austin, countryside. It was on a huge tent with like natural flowers, the dance. Everything was so beautifully detailed, and my sister was great. When I thought I wanted a destination wedding, she happened to be in Spain. So her and my girlfriend were out looking at spots for me, right? Because I wanted to have a destination wedding. And I thought, Spain will be cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, this gives an opportunity for other people to come out to a country that maybe they've never been to, you know? And she started asking me questions, simple questions, like, how many people do you think? I'm like, I don't know, maybe 10, 20. Okay, so do you think 10 or 20? I'm like, all right, go 20. All right, do you think you'd want? I'm like, oh my God, why is there so many questions? She's like, these are basic questions that I'm going to have to give the play. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting overwhelmed. I can't do it. What? This is too much. And she starts laughing. She goes, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, what do you mean? To her, it was like, she should have been a wedding planner, my sister.
Yeah.
That's really what she should have been, because she's really good at it. And I was like, no, I think I'm going to pass. She goes, are you kidding? I was like, no, I'm dead serious. Like, I don't want to plan one after all. I think I'm done.
It'd be interesting to hear patrons like horror stories and or like success stories of big weddings like that.
Or do they regret having it big?
Yeah.
Or do they wish they would have gone smaller?
Or just, justice of the peace kind of thing.
And that's what I did.
Same here.
And on top of that, I bought a cute dress to wear there, and I didn't even get to do that. Pete's like, so you want to wait? Why? Because I bought a dress that I wanted to wear to this. And he's like, my sister had told me I had to go get a blood test to make sure neither one of us had like...
Well, related?
Yeah.
No.
Did they make you do that? No. I don't know if it was because he was in the military, her ex-husband.
Oh, weird.
I don't know if that's why. So I went thinking I was going to go make an appointment to come get married.
And they're like, oh, you ready right now?
She's like, if the judge is there now, y'all can go now. And I was like, no. I'm in gym clothes, bro. Pete's in gym clothes.
That's your most comfortable, dress.
Mickey had just got out of break free out of her dance class. And I'm just like, what? Mickey's like...
She was your witness or what?
Yeah. Mickey's like, wait, I'm going to wear... I was like, I know. He's like...
It's now or never.
Well, Pete was like, so are you having second thoughts? No, Pete, I'm not having second thoughts, boo. I mean, but damn, like...
He conned you. He conned you into just saying yes.
I was just like... I'd like to look cute in a picture, like not just where I'm wearing workout clothes. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, all right, well, let's go check. If the judge is not there, then we'll get to come back and you can dress up. If he's there, then we're getting married today. And I was like, all right, then I guess that's what we're doing. And that's how we got married, y'all. And that was so my romantic wedding story. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I get it on that part. Like there's some things that I'm not for, like that's not an interest to me. To me, it's those things like, some kind of foundation together. We have to have an understanding. Like, listen, if you're maybe not so much the person who is a go-getter, then, and maybe I am, then we need to kind of, where can we meet? Are you the person that maybe's more of like, hey, I'll just go to work. Here's the money. Can you figure out what to do with it? Like, you tell us how we're going to invest it. Cool. Like, I just feel like those things are things you have to talk about. You know what I'm saying? And things that you should already know in a marriage. And I think that when you date someone, you kind of already know if that person is or isn't that way, and whether or not this is the person that you're going to be with for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. At some point in my previous relationship, I kind of knew that this is not the person I was going to end up with. And I think that's when my doubt began. And that's when I had to sit down and say, what are we doing? Because I mean, we're about to make 8 years together. We're like,
could it be because y'all weren't living together?
We did live together.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You had to...
So I was like, well, what are we gonna do? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we obviously don't see eye to eye in that aspect. Like, luckily he didn't want kids and I didn't want kids. So that's where we stood.
Dodged the bullet.
Yeah. 2, neither one of us cared for weddings. You know what I'm saying? So neither one of us, you know what I'm saying, like, cared for that. But as far as wanting things in life, we were totally different. While I was more adventurous and willing to risk starting businesses and doing that, he was more the I have a 401k, I have an 8 to 5. Like I can't, I like that I get off at 3 because after that I go to the gym. I'm able to come home and play my Xbox from 7 to this time before I go to bed. You know what I'm saying? I was total opposite of that. So there we had a lot of a huge difference. You know what I'm saying? And I think if you just think about it, anybody that you've dated in your past, if you think, yeah, that's true. I would have never made it with that person because we're so different. We don't see eye to eye in this or that. You know what I'm saying? If you think about that, you kind of knew.
Yeah, I think most guys, I'll just speak for myself, but I will also say that probably most guys can relate to that, what you just said, because most of the time you're not really going after it for long term. I can turn it on.
Yeah.
Well, we're about to wrap this one up anyway, this first one. But yeah, I think a lot of guys aren't going after it for long term. So they're all like, short term flings. So of course they're going to be like, no, I wasn't going to be with her long term. Yeah,
because I knew any of the other guys that I dated, I was like, boo-boo, this isn't gonna work. No, we're just hanging out right now, and that's all we're doing. So I hope you're having fun, because I am. But yeah, I think that, marriage is an interesting thing. And, you kind of, you have to make it work. I forget what this lady's name is, but I think I've said this on here before. She says you have to treat your marriage like a business. You have to evaluate it quarterly. You have to give each other reviews and, kind of express to each other, what is working for y'all, what is not working for y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I have a hard time doing that. I bottle everything in. I'm one to just kind of it's all right. Because for me, in my head, I tell myself, I'm like, you're really just blowing it out of proportion. It's not that big of a deal. Deal with it. You know what I'm saying? It's part of life. You have to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of and then whenever it's too much, and I'm like, fuck that. You know what I'm saying?
It just boils over.
It boils over. Exactly. And I'm just like, no. This can't happen. And then I finally voice
Have you gotten better about that? Have you gotten better about just bringing it up as it comes up? Because we've talked about this a few times, and you're still.
Yeah, I try to be better at it. Pete, though, what I will say, has gotten better at doing things without me having to ask. Versus before, it's like, well, you didn't ask me to. I'm like,
when you sent me that meme yesterday too,
I was like, why? And it's like, man, it's like, I'm real simple. I'm not like this bougie girl. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
despite what people might think.
Yeah,
on Instagram.
exactly. I'm not this person that's requires all. And I don't even require all this attention either. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm super simple, and super simple to me means just keep the motherfucking house clean. That's how simple I am. You know what I'm saying?
What was the meme, Marisol? If
it was a tip for men.
A tip for men. It was basically if your spouse and then you drew in or wrote in wife or partner or wife.
Yeah.
Is ever annoyed at you?
Just get on it and freaking.
Just clean the house without her asking or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is pretty fucking true.
Man, it's really simple for women. For some women, right? Maybe not for all, but there's some who, sometimes when I see someone oh, I'd hate to be married to her. She sounds annoying. You know what I'm saying? Ugh.
Yeah, I say that all the time.
Yeah, I'm
you can just tell.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like, oh, that just sounds like too much work. And I'm a girl saying that. You know what I'm saying?
Too much work is the best way to put it.
Yeah, it's she's too much work. I couldn't. That's why the people who do polygamy, I'm not a guy. But I can't imagine having 4 different personalities of wife.
Too much.
And dealing with all 4 of them. Okay.
Most women already have 4 personalities as it is. So
okay. And then can you imagine? Okay. So, if it's even about the sex, I don't really know what to tell you about that. That maybe get creative in the bedroom. But 4 bitches? No. I'm not even a guy. Just thinking, thinking about having 4 husbands. Well. Unless each one did something.
I was going to say.
One was this, one cut the yard, one did it might work different for women though. It says, bro tip, if your girlfriend or wife seems annoyed, just start cleaning the house. And I'm like, yes, and Pete knows if I'm annoyed, he'll look to see if the dishes are full. He'll say, all right, let me just start washing them dishes.
Yo, I was going to send this to you. I don't think I did. And maybe we'll end on this one, and then we'll pick it back up on the premium episode. And give me your thoughts on this. All right, I'm going to play it just from my phone. This is Chris Rock.
Only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. Women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. A man is only loved under the condition that he provides something.
Go ahead. I'll wait. No.
No, because financially, I really don't care. I've always said this. If my husband has to work 2 jobs because that's how he's going to provide for his family, then I'm a root for him because he's not just being a lazy ass sitting around and, you know what I'm saying, making us struggle. He's finding a way for his family. And that for me, mad respect, homie.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, if you're talking about if we're just sweeping with a broad brush here, would you say that is true for most women?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I mean,
Gotta be honest about it, right?
I can't.
Because if we were to just take like a simple stat, like what women's requirements for like a male were, like financially, I think it's when most women are polled about this, they want a guy that's over 6 feet tall, who has a full head of hair and makes over 6 figures. When you talk to guys and you ask them the same questions, they don't care what she does. She doesn't need to make 6 figures. It's not the same criteria, if that makes sense.
I agree with that.
Okay.
For me, though, money has never been a thing. For me is, what is your ambition?
Yeah, I do hear that.
For me, it's that. So I'm okay if maybe you're working your way to get to, you're struggling because you're right now trying to get to this dream that you have. Mm-hmm. I would be probably the person to be like, let's do it. Like, let me help you. Let me see
totally
what I
are.
do. Yeah, like,
Totally
let me see what I can do so that we can get there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not somebody, money to me is not.
You know the Fit and Fresh podcast? I've sent you like a video or two.
Yeah.
They're starting to blow up a lot more on YouTube, and Tim Pool had him on his show.
Oh, word. I actually like them.
Oh yeah, they barely talked about politics. It was all very just cultural, like men, women, relationship and stuff. I might end up taking some clips from their shows and then playing them on here to discuss, because listening to the whole podcast, with Tim Pool, I went to their show, and then it just so happens the most recent episode, it was a lot of stuff that I did not agree with, that I may have agreed with like 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, word.
So, we'll maybe do that in the future to kind of break down a woman's perspective on something like that.
And I think the episode that you sent me, they said that too, how women have this whole criteria for men versus men don't go checking to see what your credit score is. You know what I'm saying? Go see, like, they don't look at all those things. It's really more physical attraction first for men.
100%.
And so then everything else. But then I think that's where the problem is, where sometimes men get stuck with these shitty ass females because you're so worried. You liked the outside first and you didn't really know what the inside was like.
Well, men love youth and beauty, right? And the thing with women who are really ambitious and career driven, you get older and get this success, but then no guy wants you, no matter how much success you got, because you're older and not as attractive, because you're not as youthful. Yeah. And that's a hard pill to swallow for women.
And to me, like, whenever I broke up with my first relationship, I really thought to myself, I don't know where I'm going to meet someone, but it's not going to be someone my age. I'm going to for sure have to date someone at least 5 to 10 years older than me. Because
and now look at you.
I know I couldn't. Well, I didn't even want to meet him. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I was too new out of a relationship. I'd only been out for like 6 months. You know, so to me it was like it's too soon. Like, not yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need a little bit more time. I didn't know. Like, and Pete's like, so what, were you trying to figure out if there's somebody else out there? I'm like, no. I just didn't know. Like, I didn't know. He was,
but kinda.
Yeah, right. Well, it's kinda. Yeah, I didn't get to date that much, Pete. Thanks. Like, I just didn't know where. And my sister and I were talking about that because she's kind of there right now. You know, she kind of feels like this dating app stuff is not for her. She didn't really like it. She told me about this crazy date she went on, and I was laughing, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I can't imagine like what she's having to go through right now. Right. And so she was just saying, she's like, I was like, you know what's funny? The first thing I thought to myself was, if I had not met Pete, I think I said this on the last podcast, it probably would have been someone in the fitness world, because that's what I was doing. It would have been maybe another bodybuilder, someone in the fitness industry, like something that did that, because that's what I was into. I think that's
trainer, gym owner.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been who I would have kind of, because I wouldn't have done the dating apps because I just don't like them, you know? But let me tell y'all the craziest dream that I had last night.
Oh man.
And then we're going to end it with that.
Okay. Give it to us.
I don't even know why I had this dream, but it was like, I had a dream that I was dating Rob Bailey.
Hey, Rob Bailey. Nice.
And we were totally together, but DLB was like,
she was trying to swoop in.
He's still kind of like, that was his girl, but I was his wife. Does that make sense? And I remember, like, it was really weird. And I remember, like, us hanging out, and I was like, where's my husband? I was like, it's weird how you're not married to that person, but you're like wondering what happened to I'm like, in my dream, I was wondering what happened to Pete. Like, what happened to Pete that now I'm with Rob Bailey? Like, where's this?
Rob Bailey stuffed him in a closet somewhere.
I'm like, where is this? And I just remember thinking like, wow, this is really interesting. I don't know how I ended up with Rob Bailey. And I'm just hanging out with DLB and he's like hugging her and they're like hanging out. Like they're cool. Like they're just friends. Like that's his homie. But he and I are married. And I'm like, this is really awkward. So yeah, I don't really know if it was the cereal that I had before going to bed that caused this dream. But I just thought it was really odd that I forgot. Pete left too early this morning to tell him the dream.
Funny.
But I was like, I totally just had a dream that I was dating Rob Bailey.
I feel like Marisol's leaving out some X-rated content from this dream.
I'll leave that for my bonus
Premium
people so that they know what happened in the dream. But anyhow, guys, thank you so much for listening. Let me know if y'all think we should stay structured or should we just ramble. I know today was more about marriage and
I like that.
parenting and that if we went that route this time. But, let me know what y'all think and then we can go from there. So thank you guys for listening. See y'all Friday.